Step into love like you've never been hurt before. Step into trust like you've never been burned before.
Hello and welcome to Braveheart Conversations,
where we learn the art of love through brave and compassionate conversations. I am Jillian Landis.
and I'm Marie Wallace.
And we are your hosts today. Hi, and welcome to Braveheart Conversations today with Jillian Landis and Marie.
Good morning.
Today we're going to be talking about the rules that we create for ourselves and how that relates to intuition.
That sounds like a great thing to talk about.
Yeah, we often feel the need to justify our intuition or the things that we feel really deeply are our next step and try to make them make sense. And this has just been a theme for me that I've been really aware of. And so I thought it would be worth discussing here today.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so intuition for me has definitely been a long journey and work in progress. Learning to trust my intuition because, like I said before, it often doesn't make sense. And it feels scary. It feels scary to trust that little voice is going to lead me in the right direction and that I'm not going to fall flat on my face. And this has been really key for me too, even in looking backwards. So, sometimes it's easy to judge where we've been and the choices we've made. And so then being able to look at, relationships that I've been in or painful experiences that I've had. And sometimes it's easy to go, why? Why did I choose that? And I was so stupid. It's easy to go into self-judgment. But to go back to even those moments and say, my soul chose every single experience for my good. And I learned something from every single one of those experiences. And there's a silver lining and there's a nugget of gold if I'm willing to see it.
Yeah.
And then that applies to moving forward. That I can trust my intuition, even moving forward when sometimes it's even the same kind of judgment. Why do I want this, right?
It's like, but no.
Yeah. And there's always a purpose that my soul wants that, whatever it is. Even if it doesn't make sense.
It's for the highest good.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. If it's not, doesn't meet my logical standard, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not something really profound and miraculous on the other side of that decision. So how has intuition played out in your world, Marie? How's that developed for you?
Fortunately for me, I had a grandmother who was very intuitive, and my dad picked up on some of that. And so I feel that my intuition from a very young age has guided me. But there have been flashes of being worried about what others will think. That comes up for me. Like, but what will they think?
Yes.
And on the other side of that, going, that intuition has saved me from further heartache or deep heartache. I don't know if that makes sense, but You're right. I could see the silver linings, and if I look backwards in my past, I can pick up the lessons that I learned from each one, and I wouldn't have expanded in the breadth or the depth I have without those. Mm-hmm. You and I talk about that a lot, that it's okay to have those moments where it was without the pain, though I couldn't know some deeper things.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that there's no amount of education that I could have gotten that would have taken me to the same depth of knowledge and wisdom that I have today in certain areas that my experiences taught me, that my pain taught me. Mm-hmm. Those were gifts.
Stinky, but we have to go through it. Mm-hmm. My friend has a book that says sometimes our gifts come in sandpaper wrapping, but we need that sandpaper to get us to the beauty inside. And so,
yeah, I like to say that my biggest gifts have been wrapped in packages of pain.
Oh.
Yeah, but
it's stingy, but it's true. Wonderful too at the same time. Because how do we know sunshine without rain or
Yeah.
rainbows without rain?
So I think the way that that particularly ties into intuition is that sometimes my soul will choose purposefully painful paths.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not bad and wrong.
No.
And that will give me the best gift that I can get here, because I'm here to learn and grow. I'm here to expand. That is my purpose. That is all of our purpose in this life, is to expand and grow. It's not here to just be comfortable. So why wouldn't our intuition and our soul bring us through these moments? And I'm not saying life is all about pain. It's not, but life is duality.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It comes with pain and with joy, and my joy isn't nearly as profound without the pain.
Agreed.
So, it's a both and. But yeah, sometimes my intuition is going to lead me to some painful places, and to lean into that and trust that anyway.
Mm-hmm. It's the trust that's the hardest part. Mm-hmm. But each time we trust and we see what gifts end up on the other side, I think you build up that resiliency and that toughness to go, okay, I know it's going to be a little rough in the beginning.
Yes.
Or it may be quite a few trials and tribulations. But 1, I am tough. Mm-hmm. 2, I'm so resilient. And 3, I know what's on the other side of that. And I can't get there. It's kind of like going on those trails to see. I think of this trail near Redfish Lake, and you go up and it's really steep and it's really rocky and you have to go around all these things. But when you get to the top and you see the lake and all the beauty, you go, oh, that was well worth it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the same kind of metaphor. It's rocky and it's sometimes pretty... might get nicked up a little bit along the way, but when you get to the top.
And in life, we often don't know we're heading towards the beautiful lake, right? We just know we're trudging.
And what the heck's that about?
And so when you're in the middle of the path and it's not so pretty, you're thinking, why the hell did I choose this?
I don't know.
Why are you leading me here, soul? Mm-hmm. But... if we can lean in and trust, we do get those pockets
and
of
be
beauty.
Curious.
Yeah.
Be curious as to where is this going to go.
Right.
I'm really curious where this is going to take me.
Right.
And what I'll learn along the way, and what joy will I get along the way. Because I think if we're looking for the joy, we will find it.
Yeah, totally. And I think that we often come to this life with some wounds to heal. I love Louise Hay. I remember her saying that we choose our family
for real
for just like we would choose a university. If I want to specialize in medicine, I'm going to go to a specific university. If I'm going to specialize in geology, I'm going to go to a specific university.
I totally believe in her.
And I love that idea that we would choose our soul family, or we would choose our earthly family here the same way. That we choose the people that are going to teach us exactly what we're here to learn. And so, my family may not be perfect, but it's perfect for me. Mm-hmm. And I really love that sense of trust, even in unconscious decisions.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
That none of it is by accident, and I'm here to heal some wounds that I may not even be aware of yet. Mm-hmm. And I get to learn, I get to be curious, and when these things pop up that are triggering or painful, or I choose something and I'm like, why the hell do I want that?
There have been several times where I'm like, why did I choose this? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But then to kind of get through that sense of self-frustration and go, no, I know that my soul had a purpose in choosing this. It is not by mistake. And what am I here to learn, and how can I receive that best? So I work with a lot of people who struggle with codependency. And this was a life path for me. I came here to learn and to heal a lot of codependent wounds. And And such a big struggle for people is that idea of, why am I still here? Why am I staying in this relationship? They're judging themselves just as much as everybody else is judging them, or their perception that everyone is judging them. And they may even be in a pattern where they've chosen multiple relationships that have been massively traumatic and toxic, and they really have so much shame around that for themselves. And, it's easy to be part of the group that will say, yeah, why are you in that? You get the hell out of there, But, I have found, for me, the path has been just in this self-acceptance of, okay, your soul is choosing this path for a reason. And ironically, just like everything else, when we lean into the self-acceptance and that I'm going to trust that I'm here for a reason, that's often what gives us the healing needed to get out of that situation. It's not in the self-judgment. It's not in the shame. It's not in the, why did my soul choose this? Why do I want to be here? Or part of me want to be here. It's letting go of that judgment, accepting it and learning from it. And then we're able to level up, if you will. We are able to make, and I've seen, some people stay in those relationships and they still continue to make huge shifts and level up and grow. So, not everybody's path is the same, but, that's one example that's huge to me, is this, judgment that so many of us hold towards ourselves about why we are choosing what we are, what we have.
And I agree that we get to accept that in ourselves, but I also think that our journey is to be accepting of others on their journey as well, and just trust that their intuition will let them know when it's right for them to do whatever they need to do. I mean, because we don't know what they've chosen. I also feel that knowing that it's a choice that I've made or something that I'm healing, it allows me to step back and not judge it, but it also allows me to step back and really take a look at the lessons along the way, because sometimes I'm still stuck in that situation because I haven't taken the time to go, okay, why did I choose this? Why did I want to be in this relationship with this person? What am I healing? What do I need to get from this? And then it helps me make a more informed decision whether to stay or not. As well. It's like, if I'm healing family, I might be in this relationship to continue to heal that generational family pain. Maybe it's, because there have been times I've been asked about some generational things, why I'm still choosing certain people in my life. And it's because of the healing of the family pain that I stay in those relationships.
Yeah, and I often will tell clients too, it's both yes. It's yes if you stay and it's yes if you go. And I'm totally not attached to whatever that choice is, because either one have massive gifts and blessings. And I know for me, without having had those relationship experiences, I would not have mastered. And I really do feel like I am a badass master. And like certain things like detachment, I'm keenly aware of detaching from other people's crisis with love. But I don't get into their mess with them. That has been a huge lesson for me, detaching from other people's business. And I feel a lot of mastery in being able to not pick up other people's behavioral choices. Like, that's their stuff. It's not mine. I don't even...
Or their bad energy.
Pick it up. Yeah.
That's real easy too. Once you detach, you go, that's their journey.
Being aware of boundaries, being aware of what I want. Like, these are all profound gifts that I have gotten through these relationships, and I would not have mastered those things without those experiences. And so, I often will tell clients, it's yes, like either one is yes. And if your soul really wants to master those things, you're going to find another relationship that will teach you those same things. Like, you're not going to get out of that. Like, So I think that so many of us are really quick to say, "Oh my gosh, you need to leave that." Like, he's such a piece of shit.
Yep.
I mean, it's so easy to go there. And what I've found is often that ends up isolating the other person and adding to the shame, and it just kind of compounds the issue. If I'm able to hold space for that person. Also, okay, so this is an interesting point. So I get to trust my intuition for however my intuition leads me on my journey, but that is also something I get to extend to other people.
Exactly.
That there is a reason that their soul has chosen whatever they have, and it is dishonoring for me to say, "Oh no, you're choosing wrong." How the hell do I know?
Yeah, it's not our job to.
Yeah, I don't know what they're here to learn.
Well, and I know that if I do that, if I say something about that and they're not ready to leave that relationship, like you said, they're going to choose again because they didn't get what they needed out of that past relationship, and their soul will call for that again.
Yes, it will.
And because it hasn't played out fully the way it was supposed to.
Yep.
And so the soul will get what it needs one way or the other.
Yes.
And my job is just to facilitate the growth and ask questions, so that they are stopping, present, and aware of what it is that their soul needs. So
yes.
that's what I feel my job is just to facilitate that curiosity. Facilitate the curiosity.
Yep, I so agree. I think as a coach, like, that is one of the most profound pieces, is just to help them be curious.
Because codependency is often they want an answer.
Yeah, just give me instructions.
You just tell me what the answer is, please. What do you think I should do?
Yeah.
Whatever your soul's calling you to. I don't like that answer.
I read a meme the other day, like, me in my 20s, don't tell me what to do. Me in my 30s, please, somebody just give me a hint.
Just a little... just some little direction. And then when you tell them, what does your soul call for? What does your heart tell you?
Yeah, it's hard.
But that's like a tuning fork, really. To listen to our heart and our intuition is just like a tuning fork. It takes a little bit of time, and that might be why I'm in that relationship, to tune it up.
Yeah. Well, and there's
learn what I don't want.
So much to unlearn. So
For real.
I often think that what stands in the way of me following my intuition are all of the rules that I have imposed on myself, right? It's all these expectations, all the shoulds, and those will often usurp whatever my intuition is telling me is really in alignment for me.
Also unlearn what society tells us is okay or not okay. Sometimes disregarding intuition because what will they say? What will they think?
Yeah, totally. I think that we have a lot of rules around roles that we play. So, if I'm going to be a good mom, this is, a whole list of everything
way it looks.
I need to be. If I'm going to be a good daughter, if I'm going to be a good spouse, if I'm going to be a good sibling, if I'm going to be a good friend, if I'm going to be a good person,
coworker.
like, everything has some sort of role, some sort of expectation that you're supposed to do. And those really, to me, get me in trouble. Because then, my intuition can really be suggesting that I do something that is not in alignment with those. And I'll, sometimes pull that intuition out and put it up against this grid and say, well, does it match? And if it doesn't, then, I'm supposed to do X, Y, Z. So, again, that's another calling as a coach that I get to help people be aware of is, are we just mindlessly following rules, and does that really go back to people pleasing? And a huge belief that I think causes so much pain, which is I can't be selfish. So, breaking any of these rules often goes back to, but that makes me selfish, so I can't do that.
People pleasing does that a lot.
Yeah. So, getting people more comfortable with the idea that selfish actually empowers you to be the best version of yourself as you can, the most loving person. Taking account of your needs and your wants, your desires, is that you are the only one living your life. Nobody else is going to do that for you. You're not meant to live somebody else's life. We are responsible for our own care. So,
otherwise, we're in a cage.
And it's dishonoring to not do that.
Agreed.
It's dishonoring to everyone around us to not understand what our needs are and to take responsibility for them. Because if we don't, then we're really putting that responsibility on someone else.
I was just going to say that. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're always looking for that outside of us, right? A lot of times we look for the validation and the answers and everything from outside of us. And it's really, I need to stop and look inside for that answer.
Yes.
But we do want the hint. So as coaches, we can kind of, I don't even know if that's okay as a hint, but just to keep asking questions of curiosity.
The self-discovery. Yeah. What are the rules? What are the rules versus what do you want?
I like that.
Because often we're just mindlessly throwing out the rules. These are the rules.
I can't because.
Yeah.
Or I can.
So really getting clear about, well, what is it that you want? And getting comfortable with that and not judging that. Because what we want, that is our intuition, right? Our desires, the things that our heart is really tugging at us to do, that's our intuition.
Those rules also limit us from fully expressing what we want.
Totally, yes. So, I'm super excited. I'll kind of give a little bit away here, but I'm planning I've got a big course coming out called Unapologetic, and I'm really excited because the theme is going to be break all the fucking rules.
Break it all. I like it. I like it.
Because I really do think these rules and these roles, these societal roles, they limit us. They keep us really small. So a big part of stepping into your power and becoming your biggest potential is to let go of all the rules, break them all. And that's so scary. It really takes a lot of courage to break the rules. And people will think you're stupid, and people will think you're selfish.
They will.
People will judge the hell out of you, and that's okay. That's why it takes a lot of courage. But the more that we're able to do that, the more we empower other people.
Agreed. Because empowering ourselves is just that role model. We're being the role model for how to break those ceilings that we put on ourselves, or that society might, because there are a lot of society rules that we stop. And so breaking those ceilings and going, no, I'm so much bigger than this. And that being okay too, because sometimes we hold ourselves small because we can't be bigger. Because what if we are?
Yep.
What will people think, or what will what will we think? Because I know I have some of that baggage too, is what if I get too big for my britches, right?
Yes.
Or some of those things that were put on us as little ones. I don't want to limit myself in that way or put a judgment on it, because one, there's a reason that my soul's calling that, and two, like you were saying, is that I'm an example for other people to break their barriers and their limits as well.
Yeah, and this was really interesting for me. I'm sure I'll continue to level up in this area, but as a coach for a long time, I've talked about shoulds and letting go of shoulds, and which are just rules, another word for rules.
Yep.
And but in my own life, I was willing to only break so many of them. And then there were so many other areas where, and this is super key too, I was asking permission, either energetically or verbally, from other people. Right?
that you didn't want to disappoint.
Right. And so, but there was definitely some misalignment for me, because even though I was willing to break some rules, there were so many others I was not willing to break. And so when you really get to the point that you are uncompromising, that I am going to follow what my soul wants, no matter what, no matter who it pisses off, no matter what risk that requires that I take, no matter what it takes, I'm going to follow through with this path that I know is mine. Once you get to that point, like there is just, it's so powerful.
It is. And no turning back. It's like you just
you burn the bridges.
Yeah, exactly. Along the way, it's gone. No, you just know without a doubt, and there's just nothing that can hold you back.
Yeah. And like there's a point where it doesn't even matter. Like you burn the bridges, there isn't a way back. Like your options are gone.
I guess we're going through it.
You're doing this thing no matter what. It's the most powerful experience I think any of us ever get to. It's this like intense ownership of who I am. And it doesn't matter what anybody else's response is. It doesn't matter who you lose along that path.
And sometimes that part's the most painful part, is that losing people.
By far.
Because we talked about last week, that it's that connection that we're built for, and we know that somehow letting go of that's going to help me power through.
But then that also continues to bring up trust. Trust that in letting go, there's you're making space for other things that are coming. Things.
Agreed.
And all of that will come, and more. Like it's
and more. Yeah, that part's beautiful.
Yeah, when you really have the courage to let go, you go through the really painful transition. Really painful. And that's hard work. It's in the trenches. It sucks. But it's also beautiful, and you really learn your power. And on the other side of that, you really do get to invite in all of the new.
And immense love, just immense.
All along the way. Yeah.
So I have a question for you that I get asked often, and it may be putting you on the spot, but we'll just kind of get through that. Is a lot of times I'm asked, well, how do you know what your purpose is, and how do you tap into that intuition? How do I know that it's okay to let go of all these things and bust through those barriers? Or how did you get to the point of knowing so well that you're willing to burn bridges, right? Because a lot of us don't get to that point of knowing so much that it's okay to burn the bridge.
Okay, so this is an interesting
one step
question.
In the back past and one in the front.
Yeah. Actually, this has come up frequently. Whenever I get a client who's really invested in wanting to know what their career path is, or, can't really figure out their passion, their life purpose, that sort of thing, I like to dig a little deeper under the hood. And I often find that they have a lot of relationships in their life that are taking from them. There are a lot of drains. And I really believe that if you are giving all of your life energy away, and you have so much noise in your life that, you're dealing with criticism, you're dealing with abuse or toxicity, or, just dishonorable behavior, it is almost impossible to hear any kind of clarity in your own head. So I think I take a little bit different approach to that scenario than maybe some other coaches would. But I think you got to clean up the drains. And when you start to practice honoring yourself and your own basic needs, you start to get some more clarity about what you want in life. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. I think that's really the purpose of meditation, is to clear up the noise.
Yeah.
And so you can hear that voice of intuition. But I think what happens is the fear of losing the relationship, or the fear of not being needed,
Yeah.
That one comes up for
Which is
a lot
a
of people
worthiness
I
issue.
work with. Yep.
So that was huge for me. My worthiness in my mind was based on two things: helping enough people and accomplishing enough. And that is an endless treadmill. It
Endless.
never ever stops, because there will always be the next thing. You know, you help someone and there's the next person that I gotta help, and I can't be selfish. I've never reached
That's
that
definitely
point.
a lot of noise.
Yep. I got the degree. Okay, now there's the master's degree. Then there's the doctorate. Then maybe I should
All
get
those
another
things
one.
to validate.
Oh my
us.
Lord! It just
Yep.
it doesn't end. So so that goes back to a worthiness issue. That whole need to be needed. And yeah, I do think everything starts small. For me, it was a long, slow process. So I've been in recovery for codependency for 8 years. And I'm still in recovery. I don't know that I'll ever leave
that's
those
a
groups.
lifetime thing.
Yeah. And I love it. And I love giving back there. And I love also being fed there still. But, you know, for me, quieting the noise started with things that felt like mountains, but were pretty small, you know. No, I won't buy you cigarettes anymore. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, everybody knows the funny story. I then drove him around to gas stations to pick cigarette butts out of...
No, I won't change my schedule for you. Sometimes it's
Right.
little things.
Yeah, yeah, you can't smoke in my car. I mean, things that I was totally shaking in my boots to say. And I said them, and I stuck to them. And that's another thing, is being able to set boundaries and then follow through with them. All of these were so foreign to me, but they were so necessary, and they were the building blocks. And so if someone is unclear about their life, there's likely some things that need to be cleaned up. You know, areas of people pleasing where we've allowed other people to dictate what our life should look like. So of course it's going to be unclear.
Or we prioritize their needs over ours. Mm-hmm. That's what happens a lot in codependency.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, totally. And, you know, we only have enough energy in our life to live our lives.
And sometimes it's the fear that we prioritize their needs over ours, and it distracts us.
Uh-huh.
It becomes an intentional distraction.
Yes, absolutely. This has totally been true in my life.
Me too.
I don't have to look at my own shadowy, dark stuff if I can nitpick everybody else's. Yeah, totally. So I think that's a huge point. I like the saying, one life per customer.
Oh, I like that. That's a very nice line.
Yeah, I get one. I don't get to run everybody else's.
Well, and if this is our playground, don't you want to ride all the rides?
Absolutely. I want to live well every second of the life I've been given here. So, yeah, this has been a phenomenal discussion.
It was really fun, and we can go lots of other places.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah. So really juicy stuff about trusting your intuition, and we would love to hear from any of you guys about what your experiences have been with intuition and how you've developed that, what challenges you face in listening to that and trusting it. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to share with us, you can reach me at defytheaverage@gmail.com or
Marie@mariesgold.com.
And we hope you have a phenomenal week. We will talk to you again next Thursday.
Have some fun.
Bye, guys.